At it?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Did y'all enjoy the live that I did last night? Okay, good. This is Courtney. She's
Hey,
my doula,
friends.
and I felt like it would be a nice opportunity to go live with her because we're doing a prenatal appointment
Yes.
tonight. So you want to introduce yourself formally?
I am Courtney Glenn, the owner of Spirit of the Midwife Pregnancy Services in and around Richmond, Virginia. I am a birth doula, childbirth educator, birth justice, and maternal health advocacy um, advocate. And so I do birth work. I am what is considered a doula. I consider myself a black birth worker.
Hey, Keisha, we
And
got two viewers. Sorry.
hey, and yeah, so that's what I do. I do a lot of support of women, families, and communities with hopes of changing the maternal health disparity in the United States. My long term goal is to become a certified nurse midwife and offer clinical provider services in the hospitals and then later on in the birth center and home birth settings. So,
Very nice.
yes.
So you do it. You want to start off in a hospital setting and then eventually go out into birth centers and homes
Yes.
only. Or
Yes.
just all
So
of it?
typically, if you work in a hospital, you can't work outside a hospital. So you kind of have to pick. But I do believe I'm not anti-hospital at all. I do believe that there is a place for hospitals, and I'm very thankful we have modern medical technology in 2019. So I definitely want to work in the hospital setting just to see as much as possible and learn a lot.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. She does a lot, y'all, and I'm
I do.
really impressed by what she does. So I'm gonna give y'all a short version of how I found her because I believe it is a YouTube video up of me explaining it kind of a little bit. But I met there was a speed dating event that Kay Shell and I went to. She's one of my friends that just had her baby, and she's watching. She and I went to an event that was kind of set up like a speed dating style. And you were supposed to be there that night. I think you just couldn't make it, right?
Probably. I'm always supposed to be places.
Because the date that I went, you knew about that date.
Okay.
You were like,
Yes.
did you go to the one on such and such date? So long story short, we probably would have crossed paths that night.
Yes.
But it was a couple ladies, one in particular I almost went with. And she was not a woman of color, but the more I started thinking about my birth experience and just my life experience, I thought it would be cool if I could work with a black doula. I'm like, because I always try to think of how can I support my community in any aspect of life. So why not? Why would it be any different for my birth? So before I booked that first lady, I just Googled doulas in Richmond, I think, and then these different birth collectives popped up. Were you on? Do you remember the website? Excuse me. That you on? Your face wasn't on there, but your name was.
So I am on Richmond Doulas. I am on Doula Match. I have a website, www.spiritofthemidwife.com. But I saw your post in Boss Babes.
You did? Oh, you did. But I posted that I think before I found you.
You did, and like there were a lot of good doulas suggested. So how you found me, I'm not really sure, but
it was God. Like she said earlier, God be working. We got another viewer. Hey y'all, welcome to the conversation.
Hi.
It was a collective, and it was a bunch of people on there. And you were on there.
That's probably Richmond Doulas then.
Probably Richmond Doulas. So I just went and I was like, who black, sis? Like,
okay.
But I don't even think I knew that you were because your face wasn't on there. But I found her, long story short, and I'm happy that I did.
I'm glad you're happy. I hope you're not just saying that. Like
I am
okay.
truly because I don't be.
You don't.
She gonna tell the truth like it is, and she going the whole truth, like about the truth. But you messaged me, right? Because you said you saw the
speed dating thing. That's what happened.
Oh, yes, that's funny.
Yes. So I am single.
Me
birth
too.
Work kind of okay. Birth work really is not necessarily a lifestyle set up for a relationship. So I really find that if you don't have a strong one going into birth work, or something does not happen magically or by chance, a lot of times a lot of birth workers are single because
I'm listening.
It's busy. So Soleil runs a wonderful. Is it a company? What do you consider yourself?
I call it a business, but it's a speed dating service.
Okay.
For entertainment purposes.
Yes.
Is that Didi? Oh, I got another viewer.
Hey, Didi.
Hey, Didi. Didi was so nice and brought me gifts off my registry.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Didi.
And I have it upstairs. I vlogged what you got for me, but I'm so behind on footage. I haven't put it up yet. But thank you, girl. Hey, girl. That was really nice, Aaron. But yeah, I do a speed dating service.
Yes. So I messaged her like, "Hey, you run a speed dating service? What's up with that? Because I'm trying to be at all the events."
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "It's interesting." I think it was like, "It's interesting that you found me. I
Yep.
was gonna contact you for another reason." So
Yep.
then that's when the conversation started about my work as birth worker, and we just kind of hit it off from there. And
Yeah, that was God, to be honest, because you had hit me up about business,
yep,
well, an event, and I was already going to reach out to you, I believe. So I just know all that. That's not the full story, but
right,
that's pretty much the gist of it. But no, I truly am happy with her and her services. Like, I think the most important thing for me was finding somebody that you click with. And that's a personal experience. Like you going we were just talking about this.
yes,
You're gonna be my JJ. Like that's just, and it's a lot of women that I know, or a few rather, in Richmond that I know of, and they probably do great work, but I just didn't want anybody too close to me, if
right,
that makes sense. Like,
yes,
we are building a relationship, but I didn't want people that like knew me or my child's
right,
father,
right.
So yes, I'm happy. So that's how I found her. And I really wanted to come on live and just talk about like our experience and what a doula is, and she can speak to those points mostly because that's what she does. That's what she's trained to do. So whatever you want to start off by sharing, I will tell you that I know most people have questions along the lines of like, why do you have a doula? Why is it important? So maybe you can start there, like to tell people why you feel it's important, that why your work is important.
Okay. So, like she said, I am a doula. Doulas provide emotional and physical support, not clinical. So, I'm not an OB. I am not a midwife. I am emotionally and physically supportive to my client, the family,
Hey, ma.
through the
Sorry.
pregnancy experience. Hey, ma. So yeah, so that is what I do. I don't do any clinical things. I don't take blood pressure. I don't do cervical checks. I don't catch the baby physically. In a
Not
couple
yet.
years, though,
Future baby
yes, I
catcher.
am a future baby catcher.
That's her Instagram.
Yes, so if you see me on social media, future baby catcher on all platforms. Um, what else? So yeah, my philosophy personally as a birth worker is to inform, educate, and support women, families, and communities. And what that means to me is that we, like she said, we develop a relationship. So sometimes you will leave your doctor's office and they ask you things like, "Do you have any questions?" And in the moment, you have none. But 3 hours later, or when you're laying in bed that night, 28 questions run through your mind. You
Mm-hmm.
text me and you ask me those questions. If they're not clinical, I'll answer them. It may be, "Hey, I'm having this really weird back pain I've never had before," or "I'm having this horrible, painful, sharp pain in my pelvic area. What is this?" I can tell you things like, from my experience, especially if you're in your second trimester, that sounds like round ligament pain.
Mm-hmm.
It's typical during pregnancy. Here are some things that you can do to kind of try to mitigate or lessen the pain. And if that doesn't work, then contact your provider. So,
Right.
those are the things that we do. Aside from the knowledge, which I do think is so important, I think it is key to have support, a person just dedicated to you and your pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
We know that data shows that when birth support is offered by doulas and birth workers, outcomes are better.
Mm-hmm.
Moms feel more satisfied, babies in turn are more healthy, the C-section rate is lowered, and fewer interventions occur in the hospital or out of hospital birth settings.
Mm-hmm.
So, having a doula really can change the trajectory of your labor and your birth experience. And I'm not just saying that because that's what I do, but that's proven by data. So uh, I encourage everyone
Mm-hmm.
hire a doula.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. Even though I have a doula, this is a question that rings in my mind.
Okay.
I know why I have a doula,
Mm-hmm.
but still, I would think, like if somebody were married, why would they get a doula? Because they probably have the support of their husband, or talk to people about that,
Okay.
because it's like I think some people may see the benefit because I am a single woman, or you know things like that, that physical support. But what if I already had a partner? Like, what reasons would I need to have a doula in my birth experience?
Doulas do not replace partners. Period. If you have a doula that thinks or does replace your partner, you have the wrong doula.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that confidently. I believe anyone who is a birth support person that you would like to be part of the experience should be there. I'm only there as a guide. However, there are moments where your partner, your husband, your significant other, whomever may be there. It's very difficult to see someone you love in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Childbirth is not the most pleasant experience. So they may make different decisions than those you have already talked about, or things that they would be comfortable with in a normal setting, just because they've seen you now in what they may perceive as agony, or you are saying things that you have not said before, or sometimes just the experience itself is overwhelming. It's nice to have someone else who is unbiased but knows you but has done this before.
Yeah.
This ain't my first rodeo. So I can say, hey, I know that your contractions are tough. Let's try to put you in maybe a different position, a body position that can help with pain management. Or, hey, you're vomiting. That means you could be close or in what we call transition, which is the stage before you begin pushing. In that case, vomiting is typical. That's not going to alarm me. I'm not going to press the red call bell and think that it's the end of the world.
Right.
That's normal. That makes a difference. Having someone who can say, I've seen this before, things are progressing like they should be. Let's talk to your care team within the hospital or whatever setting you're in, but let's work through this, rather than having the emotional aspect of someone who knows you, who loves you, and is a little bit panicky because this is a situation they've never been in before.
That's true.
It's nice to have that. So I would never take away from a partner. I think that partners are wonderful, and a lot of times I get to just kind of guide them through the best way to support the laboring person. But it's nice to have somebody who is not so close to you, in the same way that you said, I don't necessarily want a doula that may know me that well. You also don't want your partner being the person that knows you that well, guiding the decision making or the conversations that you're having while you're laboring.
Right. Because I do notice that the support that you get from your family is different because of that relationship. And you can have a great relationship with your family, or a tumultuous one, but people in your family may deal with you differently because they know you. And sometimes, even as friends and family, we're not always equipped emotionally to give a pregnant person what they need all the time, because we might be needy. I know I'm not. I'm just saying. But your family, everybody got their own things going on. This is your work. This is what you do. This is what you're called to do. So you have a special place in the birthing experience, to where you're not biased. Number one, because you don't know that person very well, but it's like the ways in which you need to be there for a pregnant woman, because you study this stuff. So I have two more questions. One is, what if somebody has already had children before? Why would they need to get a doula? Like, they've been through this before.
So that's true. You have been through this before, but every birth is different. Every single birth is different. Whether you have had quick births last time and then end up having a labor that's longer than you expected, or if you've had C-sections previously but now decide that you want to try to VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after cesarean. You might need a guide through that situation. That's something new for you. That's something that you've never done before. I've supported VBACs before. I've supported cesareans before. I've supported pretty much every kind of birth before. So while the experiences are the same in that the end result we hope for is a healthy baby and a healthy mom, every experience is unique, and it's just nice to have somebody there supporting and guiding you along, especially in the hospital setting. A lot of times hospital settings are, yes, concerned about your labor, but your baby staying on the monitors, your baby's heart rate, those are the things that they are looking for and considering throughout your labor. I get to focus on you. I get to make sure that you're not thirsty, that you're not hungry, that if you want to move but your nurse is attending to another patient in another room, I can help you in that position. Things as simple as unwrapping your IV cord and IV pole and all the cords to get to the bathroom. It's nice to have somebody that knows how to do that stuff, so you don't get tangled up
quickly.
So it's helpful overall in every aspect, or every no matter how your last birth went. I think it's nice to have a guide and a support throughout the process.
Okay.
Yep.
My last question is, I was speaking to an older person in my life, but they really care about me a lot. And they were like, how much that costs, and why are you paying for that? And they said they saw the benefit in what you do, but they wanted to know, somebody had a question.
Yes.
I'm gonna come back.
I saw that pop up a couple times.
My mom said, what is you typing over here, Calm? You talking out, y'all got questions. Didi said, where was you back when I had my babies? I hated my doctor but loved my midwife. Wow.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry that you didn't have a positive experience with
Didi,
the
where you
physician.
live?
Right, where are
I
you?
think she said she in Norfolk, or do I have you confused with somebody else? Let me know, sis. But Courtney's here now.
I am here now. I've been supporting births. I supported my first birth in the fall of 2009. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been almost 10 years.
Wow.
If you are in Norfolk, I travel that far sometimes.
She's in South Carolina.
Didi, that's where I attended my first birth. I went to
Wow.
Winthrop University. So I was in and around Rock Hill and Charlotte supporting birth. Um, but yay for South Carolina. I miss it.
Let's see what my mama said. Mama said, I was like that with my other daughter. Watching her in so much pain and crying was very hard for me. I'm going to hang in there with you during the whole delivery to try. I would really like that, Mom. I truly would.
Yes.
And she'll be here to keep you, you
Yep.
know, she about me, but she's also there to
Yes.
support my family too.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad to hear that, Mother. I love you. And then Didi said, I'm hoping my kids wait a while. I'm not ready to see my daughter go through that prayers. How old are your kids, Didi? She said, oh, wow. Oh, she said, yeah, Columbia, South Carolina. Oh, wow, my kids are 23, 19, and 12. What?
Okay.
Yo.
Yes. Did that
wow.
say party done?
Huh?
What did
Yeah, she said party is over.
Okay, yes.
Okay, well, at least you know your daughter can have access to a doula if you have daughters.
I know some really great birth support workers in South Carolina, so.
Okay. Yep. Well, let me know because you have my information.
Yes.
So if you need some connection, I'm sorry, y'all. EN and Belgian. This is pregnancy.
It's pregnancy.
Let me know and I can get you connected with Courtney, and she can get you connected with some people. So that's what this is about.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
Trying to educate the people.
You were asking a question about how much did you pay for that and something else somebody
they were concerned. They were like, well, you know, I just don't want people, and just in general, not you, you know, to take your money, and like, where did they train? How do you know they have the training that they need? Which was a very valid question. So what do you say to people like that? Because they want to know, like, do you have a degree and things like that?
So to people like that, I say that I have a master's in with concentrations in public policy and management. I am doula trained through multiple organizations, but most recently to Labor, which is a local to the Richmond region birth support organization. And I, however, do not believe that training is required to be a great birth support person. I think it's important to me. I'm academically minded, so I enjoy training and learning from people and engaging in that way. But you can be just as skilled, um, attend workshops, be self taught, and provide amazing support as well.
Because when that's your life's work and your calling,
you learn.
Can walk around and work around in circles on some people that's been trained.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And a lot of times, historically, what we have also seen is that Black birth workers, so midwives who were not degreed and untrained, doulas before that name or being the title started being used commonly, were untrained Black and Indigenous women, and typically in the 1950s, 1970s, their credentials were essentially disregarded. Any knowledge that they taught was co-opted by other birth organizations, and now it's being used for profit, but they were taught by Black and Indigenous women without credentials, without degrees, without training, but called to the work and doing it throughout a lifetime and learning and knowing more than most people who were new to it.
The racism runs deep, honey.
Yes.
Deep in every field, pretty much, including birth work.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes. So I am trained, and now I'm finishing my last prerequisite for nursing school to return to school to get a BSN, so a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, and then my ultimate goal is to attend a midwifery program, so I will be a certified nurse midwife.
Yay! Yes. That's exciting.
All to catch a baby.
To catch a baby. But you are going through the measures that you are getting your credentials, because I do believe in this era, it's important, you know, because there are so many people out there you could compete with, and they do have the credentials. Like, you doing what you got to do to get where you're trying to be, and I respect that. We got more comments. Can he see my feed? I'm not sure where you came from, Mr. Judea Jones, but we don't show feed here. Okay, but it was nice that you tried to join the party. Let's see some more.
Tried to join the party.
We gonna put you in timeout. We just gonna remove you. Which one you think we should do? We're gonna remove you. Hi. Anyway,
What
um,
does time out do? Just send them away for a little
I
while?
don't know,
Oh,
but I
okay.
didn't think that was permanent
Well,
enough.
bye then.
I keep thinking more comments are popping up. Oh, my mom says something. What inspired you to go into this field and want to be interested in helping with women's labor delivery? Okay, mother, come with the questions, girl.
So my parents have always told me that I was just an odd child. I was like 6 years old watching births on Discovery Channel. I watched A Baby Story on TLC, all those shows. I've just always been fascinated by birth. I think it is the most beautiful, intimate, vulnerable, powerful experience
Mm-hmm.
in someone's life. It is amazing. It's a miracle every single time. And I am privileged just to have the opportunity to share and walk alongside people in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just always been interested, and no birth is the same. So you're always learning something new, always seeing something different, and always having a wonderful experience. So I just really love birth and the idea that she is literally growing an entire human in her body
I
who is
know.
going to grow up to have all the body parts needed to sustain a life, and it comes from woman is just astounding to me. And I just believe God is so masterful in that. Why not learn about it and support it? So
Yeah. And that's what I like to hear, that people are passionate about what they do. So when I talked to her on the phone, we did a Facebook Live
mm-hmm.
thing. We weren't able to meet up, but that was enough like for me to like just kind of read what kind of person she was and where her passion was with what she does. So I'm just glad it all worked out. And she was actually K Shell's doula mom, as well. So she's able to, um, she was able to experience that. So
Yes,
yeah,
a
man.
beautiful birth. Can't wait for you.
Oh, I
Can't
can't
wait
say
to
his name yet.
see
I
you.
can't say his
Yeah,
name yet. Almost said
I
it.
know. No, it's a secret.
Oh,
Yes.
what else did I want to share? Oh, okay, so some examples of how she's been able to like our work together, our relationship. So um you kind of touched on this a little bit. You said something about the hospital and like your role. My mom said, "Wow, that's great at such a young age." Yeah. That's how you know that was her calling. She was just naturally gravitated toward it. Um okay, so I'm gonna tell them about the hospital scare.
Okay.
So
I'm
I
ready.
had early contractions. What about 3 weeks ago? A
Mm,
month?
I think it was.
Three
Wow,
weeks?
has it been a month?
I don't
I
know,
don't
child.
know.
It feel like a
It
month.
was a month. No, it was 3 weeks ago because I had just been with another client. So yes, it was 3 weeks ago.
Excuse me. So yeah, I had a little scare. It's been a lot going on in my life. My mom said, "We thank God for you." Aw,
Oh, I thank God for y'all. Y'all are wonderful.
that was nice.
Yes.
That was
I
really
love your
sweet.
family. Yes.
So you'll get to see her at our next
Yes.
shebang.
Yes.
What to say? Oh,
You were having mild contractions.
yes. Oh, I had a lot going on. I was moving. I was doing too much, pretty much. So that caused me to go into early
Too
labor.
much. Doing too
I
much.
said early labor. Early contractions, and they were only mild contractions. So she was there with me. So this happened like 1 o'clock in the morning. Called my sister, and I'm really happy to be where I live at now because I'm really close to them. So she came, took me to the hospital. And before I even went, like she was giving an example of, she can, if you call her, she's on call pretty much anytime. If you call her with a question, even before you have to go to the hospital, she'll give you advice up like to the level she's able to. But if it's anything clinical, then she's gonna say, but you need to call the doctor or go to the hospital, something like that. So I call her. We sat on the phone for about what, 15, 20 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of timing like the contractions. At that time, we didn't know if that's really what they were, but that's why I reached out to her because it's like I didn't know what was going on, but I knew whatever was happening was coming in a rhythmic motion. Is that a word? They were coming every 5 minutes and then every 6 minutes. So that's when I was like, this feel like contractions, and it had been about an hour. So I said, let me just text her, and I'm like, is it too early to have contractions yet? And I texted K Shell too. Um, so that was cool. That's a great example of a doula and like their purpose and what they're there for. So she sat on the phone with me. We timed it, and then her advice to me was, okay, yeah, you should probably call the on call people at the hospital to see what they say. So I don't think a good doula is somebody that's gonna try to answer all your questions. It's like they have the resources to get you the information that they need up, in their job scope, but a great doula is going to tell you call your healthcare professional.
Yes.
And she was with me at the hospital, y'all. She was there. She had come from another seeing a client that had just
Mhm.
given birth, right?
Mhm.
Um, had on her work clothes. Child had to go to work the next day, so she's committed to this work. And it was really nice having you there. I talked about you on my live the next day.
Oh,
No, on my Facebook stories, but I don't think you saw it.
I did. I didn't. I missed that
Yeah,
one.
I was just saying how special that moment was, and I was really glad that you were there.
Now, every doula is different, so every doula does not commit to their clients in the way that I do.
Oh, they don't.
I am no,
Shame on them.
I am absolutely, but
Wow.
I am pretty intentional. So just like we had a first conversation and you were interviewing me, I was interviewing you.
Mm.
Is this someone that I can see myself working with over the next 6 or 7 months?
Wow.
Is this somebody who I feel is intentional and thoughtful about their pregnancy and the experience that they want to have? Why would I ask you to spend money if I know that you're not going to take the advice I give or the information that I give you, you're not really going to consider? At that point, it's a waste of your money
Mm-hmm.
and time that if you're not going to utilize it well, I could be spending with another client.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty intentional about the families that I work with as well. I take 2 births a month is my max so that I can be on call so that I'm not running all across the city or running back and forth from labor room if different people, different clients are in birth,
Mm-hmm.
in labor at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just choose to be intentional about my work as well. I'm not profit driven. It's not
Right.
a money thing for me that I feel like I need to do X number of births in a month to pay my bills or anything like that. This is my life's work. I know that I am called to do this work, and it's a privilege. So why would I not be a good steward of that?
Right.
Yep.
But somebody could also say to that though, like if this is your life's work, why not get your money? Is like why not charge an arm and a leg times 10 to make sure you get what you need to sustain your life?
So I can charge an arm and a leg,
Mm-hmm.
but I also recognize that if I'm saying I believe every woman should have a doula and birth support is important, why would I make it such a ridiculous cost that people then can't afford it?
Right.
Because now I'm talking in circles and I'm a contradiction myself
Mm-hmm.
by saying I'm so valuable that I've priced myself out of you being
Right.
able
That's
to,
like
I
a
want you to be, I don't want
oxymoron.
you to be worried about paying your doula. I want you to be like, yes, this service has a value, so this is the fee or this is the cost and this is my investment. But I also have a little bit of a reserve fund when I need an extra, thing of diapers, or
Mm-hmm.
we have an emergency room visit for a baby because I'm a new mom
Mm-hmm.
and my baby has a fever and I'm nervous. Like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
out here trying to rob anybody. I want everybody to get birth support. I want to be able to live my best life and pay my bills, but at the same time, I recognize that you're supporting a family now.
Yeah. And you also offer I'm sorry, payment plans, right?
Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
do. So for my clients, you can pay in full to start. You can pay a deposit and make payments over time, set up according to what's best for you. I don't. You don't have to. It's not all at once or anything like that. That
Right.
to me is just not the. That's not primary, right? The relationship that we have
Right.
and a positive experience for you is what matters most to me. So.
Yeah. Two more things. I want to go up to about 30 minutes so it's not too long.
Okay.
But one is how do you make sure somebody doesn't skate off with your money? So it has to be paid before birth, right? Got it.
So in
Whew.
most cases, what's going on?
I don't know. He was moving or something and it made me go whoop.
Okay.
But I'm okay.
Okay. So in most cases, I ask that payment is made at 36 weeks. For some clients, like if you let me know, like, hey, like I had clients who were like, the government is shut down and I'm a federal employee. What in those cases we make different arrangements. I'm not gonna be like, I don't care, pay me. But I do just ask that people pay their fee in full, up to a certain point. As long as if there are other extenuating circumstances, just let me know.
Yeah.
Like, don't, because we have this, and I joke and I say it a lot to my clients, but I just said to her too, like, I'm gonna see a whole baby like leave your body. So I don't want people to feel like they can't talk to me about those.
Yeah.
If you're having an issue or something has come up, your car needs to be fixed or something's going on, just let me know. But Yeah, so payment plans are available. I like to ask people just to pay in full before I go on call so that they're not worried in their last days of pregnancy about how are we going to pay the doula. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's make this easy
Mm-hmm.
on everybody. And I don't want to have to chase you down
And it's
either.
professional. You do have a contract, like you
Right.
said earlier. You
Yes.
do have a website,
Yes.
and her packages are on there. So what is it again?
Yes, the website is www.spiritofthemidwife.com. You can see the packages that I've created. If you don't like feel like you need a package, you can look at the services and then decide, hey, here's what I want, and we would talk about negotiating a fee for specifically what you've asked for. But most people go with the package. It's just easier and it's comprehensive. You get services, prenatals, birth support, postpartum visits,
Mm-hmm.
and we
One
can.
on one time, honey.
Yep.
That's what I'm getting now.
Yes.
So I'm excited. So since we're having to wrap up soon, oh, it is at 30 minutes. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about like, well, we you kind of touched on this, just the intimate relationship. I feel like it's intimate because we're so close, and you're seeing parts of my body I ain't never even seen the good view of before, and can't even see no more. So it is intimate.
Yes.
Um.
So wait, before you go on, I just want to clarify that when we talk about me seeing parts of her body, it is at provider visits, during labor, during birth.
Right.
Clinical work is not in the scope of a doula. A doula should not be checking your cervix.
Uh-huh.
A doula should not be palpating for baby's position. A doula supports you emotionally and physically and builds a relationship with you to support you. We do not offer clinical support. If you have a doula doing any of the things I listed above, you should run far and fast. It is out of scope. We are not trained in those areas.
And your relationship intertwines with the OBGYN and the midwife when labor comes.
Yes.
Except for you'll be there the entire time versus they'll be in and out.
Yes.
So
yes.
They have their job to do. She has her purpose.
That's right.
And she's pretty much by my side. So the nurses will be in and out, but she, like she said earlier, she's there for me.
Yes. We work together with care teams. So I like to keep a good relationship with the care teams, let them know that I'm there to support them and support my client, but I do not get in their way.
Before we do wrap up, I know I still gotta say the other thing, but she is in a collective that you started, right? Help start.
So we are a network of birth workers of color in and around Richmond, Virginia, Birth in Color RVA. And what we do is just advocate for women, families, and communities and amplify issues related to birth justice and maternal health care. If you are looking for anyone that does birth support work, so someone who offers prenatal massage, someone who offers lactation support, if you're trying to find a doula, herbalist, if you would like a postpartum doula, which maybe we can do another video about that later. But all of those things are available. You can find us on social media at Birth in Color RVA.
And they also have some events if you are in the Virginia or Richmond area coming up that are like birth education and just motherhood circles, all types of things. So just definitely look them up, guys, because it's a really good resource.
Yes.
But you can kind of see her personality shining through. So that's the last thing I wanted to touch on. Just, making sure you find a person that fits for you. Don't just go to a website and be like, oh, they have great credentials or have been at birth since 50 years ago.
Right.
Sit down and do an interview with them and have coffee or do a live video, however you have to make it work. But if you are in an area where they have like speed dating events set up, or speed dating style events set up to meet different doulas, I highly encourage. Going there.
Don't be afraid to talk to more than one. Always, always, always. Even if you find somebody that you connect with immediately, interview somebody else just to be sure. Like, hey, this is the person I think I want to go with. Pregnancy, I believe, is the most intimate, personal, vulnerable time that a person can experience. So you want to have the right person supporting you through that, not just somebody you just found on a site.
Yeah. And did we say in the beginning that you were a birth doula to differentiate between the other ones?
So we probably didn't, but I do. I support births. There are postpartum doulas as well who offer support to moms and their families after a baby is here. Sometimes people just need a little extra support. Maybe, a mom has a large family or multiple children and needs someone to come in and kind of work with her and the baby or provide just a little bit of relief so that she can get some sleep. She does have a different, an entire household to manage.
Mm-hmm.
So there are other kinds of doulas as well. There are also death doulas. That's not related, but sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when you just hear doula, you hear about the different kinds. But essentially, in whatever capacity we serve, we support our clients through whatever experience they're having,
Mm-hmm.
they're going through.
Okay.
Yep.
So Courtney Glenn, everybody,
Hey, you
spirit
guys.
of the midwife.com,
Yes.
future baby catcher on Instagram. So y'all
Mm-hmm.
look her up, and also Birth and Club RVA.
Yes.
I appreciate the ones that's been popping in and out. Shout out to
Yes.
my mama and my daddy, because I know he gonna be on here looking. And this baby would not be possible if it won't be the one of them creating me. So y'all so sweet.
Thank you, parents.
Shout out to K
Yes.
Shell. Thanks for watching,
Yes.
girlfriend. And we're gonna call it a night. It's been nice. It's been intimate, and I just wanted to share a little bit of her with you all. We just got a like. Thanks for the like. And just share some more education, because I do know that I did create that doula video, but just so y'all can see the relationship that we have, and what that looks like, or what that could look like.
Yep.
If
you have more questions, because I know people can't people leave questions if they watch it later?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
leave
so
a comment.
if you have comments or questions, leave them and I'll answer them later.
K Shell said, "Get you a Courtney." She said, "That's right. She's excellent.
Oh, thank
I'm very
you.
blessed to have her. Get you a Courtney." That's right, honey. And then Dee Dee said, "That's
That makes me
awesome.
so
Thank
happy.
goodness you and baby are okay." Thank you,
Yes.
honey. And yeah, thanks for the kisses.
Yes, thank you, Dee.
Good night, everybody, and thank y'all for watching. If you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel and you're watching this later, go ahead and subscribe.
Do that.
More vlogs coming, and yeah, just stay tuned for the journey. Baby be here in a month, y'all.
Yep.
All right. Good night.
Bye.